Good work dealing with that spy. You please, Stalin. Make sure you never disappoint him. Now, I have a special task for you. We are amassing for our attack on Berlin. The Allies are aware of this, so we are going to, how do they say, throw them a bone? I want you to create a diversion. Occupy their troops until we can drop soldiers behind their lines. Once the troops are in, use the soldiers to cut off Allied communications. With no early warning. We can take Berlin by surprise.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Comrade, waiting
Affirmative.
order. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Awaiting
Comrade.
orders.
Comrade, affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Cannot deploy
Yes,
here.
sir. Acknowledged. Comrade, acknowledged. Comrade,
Construction
affirmative.
options.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Construction complete. New construction options.
Vehicle
Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Building.
Acknowledged.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Comrade. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged.
Construction
Affirmative.
complete.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
New construction options.
Yes,
Building.
sir. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders. Vehicle reporting.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Construction complete. Building. Unit
Yes,
ready.
sir. Acknowledged. Waiting affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Awaiting
Building.
orders. Acknowledged.
Construction complete. Building.
Reporting. Acknowledged.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building. Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Awaiting orders. Acknowledged.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Insufficient funds. Unit ready. Building.
Waiting order. Acknowledged.
Construction complete. New construction
Reporting.
options. Building.
Affirmative.
Construction complete. Building. Unit ready. Building. Construction complete.
Vehicle affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Reporting. Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Vehicle report. Acknowledged.
Comrade, acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Construction complete. New construction options.
Comrade,
Building.
acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Construction
Acknowledged.
complete.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Reporting.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Comrade, acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building.
Comrade,
Prepare.
acknowledged.
Building.
Awaiting orders. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Training. Unit ready. Training.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Reporting. Yes,
Unit
sir.
prepared.
Reporting. Acknowledged.
Training. Unit ready. Building. Construction complete.
Yes,
Building.
sir. Affirmative.
Preparing.
Waiting order. Affirmative.
Construction complete. Building. Unit repaired.
Yes, sir.
Repairing.
At
Construction
once.
complete. Unit ready. Building. Training.
Reporting.
Ready
Unit
and waiting.
ready.
Agreed. Acknowledged.
Training.
Reporting. Agreed.
Unit prepared.
Acknowledged. Reporting.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready. Training.
Reporting. Very well.
Unit
Yes,
ready.
sir. Waiting order. Reporting.
Construction
Acknowledged.
complete.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
New construction options. Building. Repairing. Unit repaired.
Comrade,
Yes, sir.
reporting. Acknowledged.
Building. Construction complete. Building. Building.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Acknowledged.
Insufficient
Affirmative.
funds.
Affirmative.
Construction
Acknowledged.
complete.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Waiting orders. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. At once. Yes, sir.
Unit
Ready
ready.
and waiting.
Building.
Affirmative. At once.
Unit ready. Unit lost.
Reporting. Acknowledged.
Reporting and affirmative. Very well.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. At once. Very well. Agreed.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Yes, sir. At once.
Building.
Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Comrade. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Comrade.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Waiting
Acknowledged.
orders. Reporting.
Unit lost.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Very well. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Comrade. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Waiting orders.
Affirmative.
Unit
Waiting
lost.
orders.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Reporting.
Lost.
Yes, sir.
Vehicle reported.
Unit
Yes,
lost.
sir. Acknowledged.
Reporting.
Acknowledged.
Lost.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
lost. Unit
Yes, sir.
lost.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Preparing.
Yes, sir. Waiting on acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Affirmative.
Building. Insufficient funds.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. 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 Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Comrade. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Comrade. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Training.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Training.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
lost.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit
Acknowledged.
lost.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
lost.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Comrade. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Ready and
Affirmative.
waiting.
Comrade. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Comrade. Affirmative.
Reporting affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Reporting. Acknowledged.
Comrade? Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit prepared.
Affirmative. Yes,
Training.
sir. Yes, sir.
Unit
Acknowledged. Comrade.
ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledged.
Training. Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Training.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Insufficient
Affirmative.
funds.
Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Ready and
Unit
waiting.
ready.
Affirmative.
Building. Unit lost.
Ready and waiting. Reporting. Very well. Affirmative.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Waiting order. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Comrade. Acknowledged.
Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Building.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Comrade. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative.
Training.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. At once.
Training.
Very well. Very well.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Affirmative.
Insufficient
Acknowledged.
funds.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative.
Reporting.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Building.
Affirmative.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Awaiting orders. Agreed.
Training. Unit ready. Training. Unit ready.
Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Insufficient funds. Repairing. Insufficient funds. Repairing.
Comrade. Acknowledged. Waiting order. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Unit repaired. Repairing. Unit repaired. Repairing. Construction complete. Repairing. Building. Insufficient
Yes, sir.
funds.
Yes, sir. Awaiting orders. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Repairing.
Affirmative.
Insufficient funds. Repairing. Construction complete. Repairing.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Repair.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Construction
Affirmative.
complete. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledged.
Construction
Affirmative.
complete.
Affirmative. Yes,
Unit
sir.
ready. Unit repaired.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Construction
Acknowledged.
complete. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative.
Comrade. Acknowledged.
Construction
Acknowledged.
complete.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Waiting
Affirmative.
order, sir.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Base is
Acknowledged.
under attack.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Comrade. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Comrade. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Repair. Silos needed. Building.
Yes, sir.
Silos
Yes,
needed.
sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Construction complete. Building.
Waiting order. Affirmative.
Construction
yes, sir.
complete.
Affirmative.
Building. Construction complete. Building.
Yes, sir.
Construction
Acknowledged.
complete. Building. Building. Construction complete. Unit ready.
Comrade. Affirmative. Affirmative. Reporting. Comrade, waiting order. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Building. Unit ready. Building. Unit
Awaiting
ready.
orders.
Building. Mission accomplished.